Now, we told you at the outset of this show that we had an explosive story for you, and boy, do we ever. Breaking criminal referral requests filed against Fauci and top COVID officials in 7 states. Arizona and Pennsylvania join a growing list as victims accuse federal health leaders of murder, assault, abuse, and medical terrorism over COVID era policies. You can see some of the named individuals there, including Dr. Anthony Fauci, Dr. Francis Collins, Dr. Deborah Birx. The list goes on. Let me just say, I'm happy to see Rochelle Walensky on there, Ralph Barrick, and it goes on. The alleged crimes include murder, involuntary manslaughter, negligent homicide, assault, abuse, coercion, reckless endangerment, kidnapping, forced labor, terrorism, racketeering, and operating a corrupt organization. On April 8th, the Virez Law Group, in collaboration with the former Feds group Freedom Foundation, submitted a formal criminal referral request to the Attorney General of both Arizona and Pennsylvania. These filings urge state prosecutors to open criminal investigations into Dr. Anthony Fauci and other prominent public health and government officials for alleged crimes committed during the COVID-19 pandemic. The referrals are based on detailed evidence, including stories of over 80 victims and families, and allege that policies such as lethal hospital protocols, the denial of life saving treatments, and systemic medical coercion led to widespread injury and death. Similar filings have been submitted on behalf of constituents in Florida, Louisiana, Texas, Missouri, and Oklahoma, marking a coordinated nationwide effort to pursue justice through state and local authorities. Joining us now is Rachel Rodriguez from the Virez Law Group. Rachel pursued her education through Wheaton College in Illinois and Rutgers University School of Law in New Jersey. In 2021, Rachel fought egregious abuses of law and violations in civil rights in the handling of the COVID-19 pandemic by representing firefighters and first responders against Orange County, Florida, against the county's vaccination mandate. She also sued the county on behalf of parents to challenge the public school board's mask mandate. And she's spearheading this fight for accountability for Fauci and co. Rachel Rodriguez, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much, Maria. I appreciate it.
Well, this is absolutely phenomenal news, and I'm just glad to see that accountability is still coming. Many people have been waiting for this. Talk to us through this latest development in this case.
Absolutely. So what we've done is this is not a lawsuit, but this is a petition for criminal investigation and we hope prosecution. We believe that the briefs that we've presented now to 7 states attorneys general and to over 30 district attorneys provide sufficient evidence for probable cause on charges under state penal codes. So again, this is the jurisdiction of the state AGs or the local county prosecutors with regard to state crimes. And this is very important because we, the people, are the sovereign in this country, and we can petition those who have been put in position to enforce the law to do so. And that's exactly what we've done on behalf of many, many victims now in all 7 states. They are coming to their law enforcement saying, we survived this abuse or our loved one did not. They were killed in the hospital. And we believe this is criminal, and we're seeking your investigation and prosecution of those responsible.
Well, that's amazing. So obviously the kingpin here, Anthony Fauci, is named, but we have a number of other individuals such as Francis Collins, Deborah Birx, Rochelle Walensky, and a number of other people that really have seemed to slip under the radar where COVID crimes are concerned. So talk to us about some of the alleged crimes of these investigations.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Anthony Fauci. We also have Cliff Lane.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Rochelle Walensky, Stephen Hahn, Janet Woodcock, Peter Hotez, Robert Redfield, and Peter Daszak, in fact, of EcoHealth Alliance. We have Ralph Barrick and Rick Bright, just as named individuals, but also very importantly in what we're doing. So there's an entire COVID criminal enterprise. Okay, we can see that anytime you start looking into the issues that we've been dealing with for the last 5 years, you see that there are multiple sectors, there are multiple actors, not just at the federal level, but all the way down to the states. Who was giving money, who was taking money to do things that were against the law. And so very importantly in the project, as the petition, as we've presented it in these states, are the administrators of hospitals in those states. because we have focused on the section of the COVID criminal enterprise that related to abuses and murder. We believe it's murder in the hospitals during the COVID pandemic. And so the administrators in the hospitals, without their consent, without their bringing in the money from the CARES Act, because of these perverse incentives and policies in order to effectuate those protocols in the hospitals, patients would not have died. And so we've identified the hospital administrators and asked the local law enforcement to look into that. You asked what kind of crimes we believe there's probable cause to charge. Obviously, I just mentioned murder. To the extent that the elements don't meet that, involuntary manslaughter. So anything that's within that range. And each of the states, by the way, will be a little bit different. But we have seen across all the states a sort of pattern. There are certain crimes that kind of go across all of the states. So assault, aggravated assault, terrorism, and we can unpack that a little bit. You have, of course, RICO or racketeering. Most of the states have their own law. Most people are familiar with the federal RICO, but states have their own. Also, you have human trafficking, believe it or not. And again, most of the states have some form of vulnerable individuals, abuse of the disabled, elderly, children. So the idea of someone who is either has less capacity or is under the care of somebody else, like a patient to a healthcare provider. That's a relationship that then creates a heightened duty, and there are code sections in most of the states protecting those individuals from crimes.
Can I ask you, Rachel, because recently President Donald Trump said that the pardons that President Biden issued may be invalid, and so people were almost instantly saying, well, let's go after Fauci now. But of course, that has to be dealt with in a court as well. But from what I understand, what you're doing doesn't really depend on the outcome of that either, because this is at a state level, correct?
That's correct. The pardons relate to the jurisdiction of the executive that's giving the pardon. So obviously, if there were, and I don't want to give any ideas to governors who are not doing their job, but if a governor of a state were to give a pardon, then that would cover state crimes under that jurisdiction. So when the president of the United States gives a pardon, it's relating to federal crimes. So what we've been doing, which we started in October of 2023, that was our first submission in Florida, all the way until just recently this week. We've actually in the last couple of weeks we've submitted to two other states. All of that is not going to be affected by pardons that occur at the federal level.
That's fantastic. So, what are the next steps now? I mean, we have a number of states recently, both Arizona and Pennsylvania have joined this growing list of states. What are the next steps now?
Well, in fact, we're working with grassroots anywhere that there are victims of the hospital homicide. If they reach out to us and they say we've got a group here, we want to join a petition, then Virus Law Group comes alongside them with former Feds Group, and we put together a brief that relates to their state's criminal code. So we have a couple other states that we're working on. We've already compiled a list essentially of code sections across all 50 states that we believe the evidence supports probable cause to charge these individuals on that basis. But I do want to also encourage the audience. I think it's very, very important to know that there are currently, as we speak, there are two county level criminal investigations open on the basis of the evidence we presented in these briefs. So I think that's really, really big. That's good news. Of course, we can't speak more about it because they are ongoing investigations, but I think the American people should know that their law enforcement are taking this seriously, and we should see more of those open.
That is fantastic to hear. Absolutely fantastic. I am very encouraged to see that the American people are still looking for accountability, and there should be accountability. Without justice, we may see a repeat of this at any time. I want to
That's right.
direct people to your website. So, just to clarify, if people want to get involved, they should visit the Virus Law Group website.
Yes, viruslaw.group. You can reach out to us there and we'll get back to you. You'll see in the contact section, there's actually a way to reach out to us with regard to COVID issues. You can also reach out to former Feds Group. And if you want to donate to this project, we'd really appreciate it. This is a labor of I don't want to say a labor of love, but this is duty. We believe that it's very, very important that these people are held accountable for their crimes. As you just said, Maria, this should never happen again. And it's up to us, we the people, we have to see that it doesn't happen again. So all of us on our team and former feds are all working on this because we believe it needs to be done. And so if you want to support the work that we're doing, we'd really appreciate that as well.
All right, so vireslaw.group, VIRES law.group is where you can go to make contact. You can also donate to this by visiting formerfedsgroup.org/donate. That's how you can support this and help these wonderful people get the accountability that the American people deserve. Thank you so much for your time today, Rachel. We
Thank you.
appreciate it, and all the best.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Maria. It's a pleasure.
Now, before we finish up for today, we want to tell you about how millions of Americans are taking advantage of these uncertain times in financial markets. Tariffs, auditing Fort Knox, government shutdowns, escalating wars, and governments running out of money. No wonder there's extreme volatility in the markets. Silver and gold thrive in times of chaos, as they are now. Take advantage of this once-in-a-generation opportunity to thrive and call Kirk Elliott Precious Metals at 720-605-3900 or go to kepm.com/pulse. Learn how to protect your retirement assets with a firm that will educate you, not overcharge you with high commission gold and silver, and doesn't charge a commission when you sell. Call them today, 720-605-3900. There are ads for gold and silver on nearly every show these days, but I have a warning for you. Don't overpay for your stuff. Stay away from overpriced, high commission, rare or semi-rare coins for personal delivery or in your IRAs. Only purchase low-cost bullion that is 100% liquid from a firm that doesn't even charge a commission when you liquidate. Call KEPM at 720-605-3900 or go to kepm.com/pulse to learn more and take advantage of what may be the largest bull market of a generation. From next week, we are here every single weeknight at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's every weekday. Daily Pulse, where we keep your finger on the pulse of the latest breaking news and the news they're keeping from you. You can support us to stay independent by shopping directly with our sponsors who make this show possible. Their links are in the description below. You can also like, share, and give us your thoughts and comments on the broadcast. Please also follow Vigilant Fox on Rumble as well as Vigilant Fox on X. And you can also subscribe to Vigilant Fox's Substack to keep up to date with deep dives on the latest news. You can also follow Z Media on Rumble, where we post our long-form interviews, deep dives, and investigations. And follow us on X at ZEEE_media. All of our content is also on zmedia.com. We'll see you Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Tell everyone about it. And as always, keep your finger on the pulse with the Daily Pulse. Good night.